I'd like to welcome all of you, hoping that we'll have constructive discussion on the gate of knowledge, one of the most important gates of knowledge, that is reading. Before that, I'd like to introduce myself. I am a lecturer at the CUCA College in Ajman. I have a master's degree in TESOL, and I have ALLT Toastmasters International, and I have a British Council ALLT Trainer Certificate, and MOE trainer. First of all, I'd like to talk about the overview of my presentation. First of all, I will define reading, what's meant by reading, and what does it mean, text exploitation? Why is it important? And how can we carry text exploitation? After that, we will get to know some practical strategies for reading. Okay, what is reading? Reading is an interactive process. Reading is an interactive process between the reader and the text, where the reader decodes the symbols in order to construct meanings. Firstly, reader uses his background knowledge in order to read the symbols, the letters, the punctuation marks, or the paragraphs in order to communicate or to construct meaning from the text. So this is reading. So in a nutshell, the reading process is an interactive operation between background knowledge and linguistic features, the sentences, the words, etc. Therefore, we can, let me just try to show this, or, okay. Okay, so this is an interactive process between the background knowledge or the schemata and the linguistic features in order to get comprehension. But how can we have comprehension? Now, this is what's said about reading. The more you read, the more you know. And the more you know, the more interactive will be, the more practical will be in your life. Now, what is meant by text exploitation? What do we mean by that? Text exploitation means dealing with the text or copying with the text from many different perspectives at different levels. Why is it necessary to have text exploitation? Why should we exploit the text? In order to increase our comprehension faculty, because when we deal with the text, understand the text, deal with the text so we can understand it much better. Second, when we read the text from different perspectives, we will get more critical thinking and analytical skills. Why? In order to have an independent learning or independent learners. Because if we have independent learners, we will have qualified, competent person, and we will have an educated society. Why carrying different text exploitation strategies? Now, with respect or with great respect to our students, look at these creatures. Suppose we ask them to do one mission. Suppose we ask them to do one mission. What will happen? If we tell all these creatures to climb the tree, will they climb the tree at the same ease, at the same pace, at the same psychological readiness? Of course, no. So we have to deal with our students as different creatures with respect to them. Now, it is said here also, when we teach reading, we should not consider them as fizzle to be filled. I mean indoctrination. We should not indoctrinate the students, but we should make it as a fire that should be lightened, that should be kindled. Now, what are the techniques for carrying out text exploitation? As it is said in the previous slide, students are not the same. They don't have the same power. They don't have the same strength. Therefore, we should deal with them differently. Now, we have shallow analysis. We will ask them simply, what is the main idea of the text? And then we will ask him some linear questions, referential. For example, if we are teaching them about the UAE, we will ask them, what is the capital of the UAE? It is red. Then we will ask them, could you give me a topic sentence? What is the topic sentence? Then how many supporting sentences are they? What function do they? Do they give example, illustration, etc.? Then we can ask them, what does the writer focus on? What is the focus of the writer? Bogrand sets 7 criteria for text exploitation that deals with different students' levels. Cohesion. Does the text use cohesive devices? How does the text make cohesion? Or the writer, does he make a logical repetition of nouns or pronouns? Does he use synonyms or antonyms in order to diversify expressing his ideas? Does he use conjunctions, subordinating, coordinating that join the text in different manners? Okay. Coherence. Is the text coherence? I mean, does the ideas flow logically and smoothly? Does the text have parallel structure? Does it have logical connections and relations? For example, does it use the cause and effect style? Does it use comparison and contrast? Does it use agreement or disagreement, etc.? Word texture. Now we'd like to study the word texture. Does it have a lot of verbal part or nominal part, lexical part? What is meant by lexical part? It means, is the text density? Does it have more content words than functional words? If it has, for example, according to many statistics, a text that has below 70% of lexical part is called shallow or not expressive. So we can deal with text from these perspectives. Intentionality. It means you can ask students, does the text express the message it is supposed to do? Informativeness. Does the text give you information or something below? Intertextuality. Does the text relate the student's experience to other texts or to external situations? Why? Because I'd like people to be critical thinking. I don't want them, sorry to say the word, vomiting learning or introductionist. Just learn by heart, then forget. I want them to analyze. I want them to enrich their schemata. Advanced exploitation. Expanding the text. Simple text. Simple text, we can ask students simply add an adjective for every noun, an adverb for every verb in order to have more creativity. Longer texts. I will write some jumbled sentences and I will ask students to enclose them in the text. Now reducing the text. If I have a text, I ask them, could you summarize or paraphrase the text to be just 100 words? Or reduce the total of number by 50%. Reconstructing text, writing jumbled keywords, reordering them logically. Writing personal text, write something, imitate. I'd like you to imitate. As you read this story, write a story expressing the same theme from your point of view. And then after reading or changing the text, compare the text that you composed with the text that you see. Now matching. You can cut the first sentence of each paragraph, write them across in jumbled order, then ask them to match the sentence with the appropriate paragraph. And this is in the IELTS. Transforming the text. This is the utmost creativity. Changing the text into a story. Now, this is not a story, this is informational. Change it to a story. Narrating the story in the first person instead of the third person. Narrating the story from another character. Giving another ending. Giving another beginning. Making a text as a newspaper or advertisement. Deduction. Cutting left side and right side of the text. Hiding the middle paper. Ask a student to reduce the theme of the text from two halves, not from the whole text. Now, text quiz. Ask students to prepare 10 questions based on the text, then ask them to exchange these questions and answer them. Word partnership. Choose the words that come together. For example, writing 2 columns, ask students to highlight collocations, the words that go together, alliterations, the repetition of words, words families. are the words that are extracted from the same root. For example, teach, teaching, taught, etc. But word splash means the words that have semantic meaning. For example, if I say doctor, what other words are related to doctor? Medicine, medication, bed, patient, etc. Matching the words with partner. Example, solve the, so they have to have the partner for this one. Reaction. What I found most about the text was, now we check their feeling, boring, shocking, amusing, irritating, baffling, incredible. Okay, yes. Now, the text can be exploited as a piece of art. Clarity. How clear is the writing? Is it easy to understand? Is it confusing or mysterious? Did the author intend it that way or not? Grandeur. How strong, educated, mature is the language? Is the language strong? Slang? Weak? Okay. Does it have lexical or syntactic complexity? I mean, does it have only simple sentences, compound sentences, just complex sentences, or a mixture? Beauty. Is the text a pleasure to read? Does the author use any annoying or ugly words or taboo words, for example, in his writing? Is the text imagery lively or boring? Speed. How fact-free is it? It means, is the text wordy? Does the writing in the text flow easily or make it easy to use? Does it drag along with text words or sentences? Does the author repeat himself? Does he engage you? Character of the story. How realistic and believable are the characteristics in the story? How is the character reflected in the text? Truth. How true are the facts used in the text? How well does the author use facts? How does he present the sources? Does he give references, etc.? Gravity. Does the text pass who cares test? I mean, do people care for the text or no? How much of the text, okay. Does it make you change your mind? Believe the writer or not? Why not? What are the main reading strategy? Just say something strategy. Sometimes we have weak students who are afraid to express something. Just tell him, what do you know about the text? Car question strategy. We will ask them simple questions right there, where the answers are direct in one part, the answer in different parts. Now, the author and you questions. If you meet the author, what questions will ask you? Now you can design your own questions. The second level questions, okay, this is, sorry, a repetition. SQR, okay, survey the text, then write questions in it, then read the surveyed thing and the question, recite them, try to explore them more, relate them to your experience, and review them for getting the main idea. Now, this is an excellent strategy for summary. Suppose you would like to paraphrase a book. What will you do? Title, read the title, then read the headings, then read the introduction, then read every topic sentence, then look at the visual charts, etc., and vocabulary titles, end of the chapters, so you will have an idea and you will summarize the book. Now, this is psychological, smell reading strategy.
Apologies for interrupting you. We'll give you 1 more minute to wrap it up, please. So we can move to the next presentation.
Okay. What is the letter? What is the message, for example? Who is the sender? Who is the giver? Effect. What effect or impact does it have? What is the logic of the message? What is the language? How is the language? So this is the smell strategy. Now, we can exploit the text through text truffles, title, headings, introduction, first sentence, look at the visual, end of the chapter, summary. Now we have big, fox, bold, italics, graphics, facts, opinions, X means the main points of the text. So you can use them in order to get this. Now, how can we make a presentation? A teacher is like a tailor. Okay, he tailors his teaching style according to his students' needs. In a nutshell, using more text exploitation culminates in engagement, participation, and learning. Thank you very much. And you are welcome to any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmoud. I would like to remind the audience that if they have any questions, please post them in the chat and we'll address the questions at the end of the panel.